So senior year is a really exciting time. You're going to have a lot going on. In today's presentation, we're going to give you a lot of really important information to help you make the most of your senior year. You're going to hear from us as your school counselors. You're also going to hear from the activities office, and you're going to hear from administration, giving you, like I said, really important information with the whole idea that we want you as a senior class to finish strong. So you've been working on your education since kindergarten, you've been working on your high school diploma, and this last year, we want you not to give up the fight. We want you to take advantage of every opportunity and make the best decisions as you prepare for after graduation. Skip the video and hope PowerPoint starts working. So there are several main paths that you might be taking, might be planning on after graduation. So whether your plan is to attend a four-year school, a two-year school, you maybe are thinking about vocational or career colleges, maybe you have a branch of the military in mind, or maybe you're going straight to a job after graduation, there are things that you need to be doing throughout this year to help get ready for that. So as we go through this presentation, we're going to be flipping through this packet. It follows right along with all of the slides, so I encourage you to flip with us as we go. You'll see the first page is a table of contents to help you go back and find information quickly. This packet will also be posted on our website, so you can go to the school counseling section of the Park Vista website and click on Class of 2023 to find it. So if you flip, the first thing that you're going to see in the packet is your senior year checklist. Here at Park Vista, we've had one of these for you every year. This is the one for your senior year. The first page has some really great general information about preparing for graduation, requirements that you need to take care of, thinking about post-secondary. And then if you flip to the next page, you're going to see that we have your senior year broken down in a timeline format. So this is a really great resource that you want to put somewhere safe and refer back to throughout the year. The next page in your packet has our SIS helpful hints. Throughout the year, as you're filling out applications, you're doing some research, you might need to know things about yourself. You might need to have an unofficial transcript to fill out your SAR, for example. You might need to know your exact GPA. These are all things that you can see for yourself in SIS, and these are the directions that you'll use to find that information. So attendance senior year is really important. Not only is it important just generally so that you're successful in your class, in your classes, but keep in mind the attendance policy regarding exams. If you go over 10 days of absence in a semester, and remember that a block period counts as 2 days, if you go over that absence limit, you'll have to pass the first semester exam in order to earn credit in the class. Second semester, seniors who pass both third and fourth quarter can waive their semester exams. But if you go over the attendance limit, once again, you will have to take and pass the semester exam. So make sure that you're coming every day, that you're present, and that you're doing the things you need to do. Looking at some of our graduation requirements, you need to submit 20 hours of community service for graduation. If you haven't done that yet, you can go to our website, click on community service information, and find the Google form to submit your hours. Those of you working toward Bright Futures, you are submitting 75 or 100 hours of community service. You also need to have an online class, at least one online class. So if you haven't done that yet, it's really important that you sign up and take care of that. In your packet, the next page gives you the directions for signing up for an online class. What's really important to know is the senior deadline for FLVS. Seniors must have their FLVS class completed by April 28th in order for us to have enough time to transfer in your grade and update your transcript to clear you for graduation. If your FLVS classes are not finished by April 28th, we can't guarantee that we'll get the grade in time for the ceremony. Also keep in mind that as a senior, you need to be on track to graduate in order to do things like attend prom or homecoming, to buy tickets for special events. So that means at least your 20 hours of community service and your online class. Another graduation requirement is to pass the FSA ELA and the Algebra 1 EOC. If you have not passed either of those tests, you can sign up to take an SAT or ACT to earn a concordance score. In your packet, you're going to find all of the dates of the SAT and ACTs, and you'll find the registration information, including deadlines. You might also be taking those tests as college entrance tests. We would encourage students to take both an SAT and an ACT. So if you haven't taken both of those tests, you should. Some students do better on one than the other, so it's important that you try both. If you are on free and reduced lunch, you qualify for fee waivers for the SAT and the ACT, and you also qualify for college application waivers, fee waivers. So the next page in your packet gives you the directions for how to find your fee waiver when you sign up for the test or when you submit your college application.
Thank you, Ms. Terr. So I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the pathways that some students take, and that's going to a four-year college. We're going to focus today primarily a little bit on the four-year public state universities in Florida and the private universities. But some of the information that we talk about, like when we talk about the Common App and stuff, will apply to out-of-state schools as well. In your packet, you're going to see a matrix. This is for the 12 public state universities in Florida. You'll see them listed across the top. You're probably familiar with some of these schools, like University of Florida, Florida State, Florida A&M, Florida Atlantic. Underneath each school, it's going to give you some information about that school. And this is a consolidated information about their academic profile for the students they admitted. It's going to tell you a little bit about their application process and deadlines. It's going to give you a profile for the students they admitted the previous year. Some of this information is pretty much up to date. We will get a new profile in a couple of weeks from the state universities. And I will point out a couple things that changed on it. One is that Florida A&M now is on the Common App, and I'll talk about the Common App in a minute. And they're also using the SAR, which is the Self-Reported Academic Record. I'll talk more about that. And USF is also on the SAR. So those are a couple things that changed on the matrix. If you look a little bit about third of the way down, you're going to see it talks about mid-range academic GPA for students that were admitted the previous year. When you look at that GPA, remember that that's a recalculated academic GPA and it's weighted. So when the colleges evaluate your academic record, either by transcript or by self-reporting the record to them, they're going to focus on courses that are in math, science, English, social studies, and foreign language, the core classes. Then they're going to calculate a GPA based on the grades you earn in the class and also the level of the course. So they do apply weight. They apply it a little differently than we do. They're going to apply one extra point for any class that's an AP, ACE, IB, or dual enrollment class. So an A is normally 4 points, but for those classes, an A would be like 5 points. The B is 3 points, but a B in those classes would be 4 points for the college. If it's a pre-AP, pre-ACE, or honors class in those academic areas, they apply a half a point, okay? So the mid-range GPA that you see there, that means the middle 50th percent of the kids that applied and were offered admission to that university fell in that range. So 25% of the kids were above that range and 25% were below. So it doesn't mean you have to fall exactly in that range, but if you fall in that range, you're reasonably competitive to be admitted to that university based on their GPA. They also do the mid-range for test scores, like on the SAT and ACT. And even though a lot of colleges out of state and some private schools have gone test optional during the pandemic, remember that the public state universities still require an SAT or ACT score. So that's required. Okay? On the next page, you're going to see it talks about the private universities. Okay? So the private universities in Florida are listed here. You might be familiar with some of these schools. Schools like University of Miami or University of Jacksonville or University of Tampa. We have some local schools too, like Palm Beach Atlantic or Lynn University listed here. And it's going to give you that same type of profile information and same information on the application process, deadlines if they apply, so the same kind of information. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about a cheat sheet for the public universities, and all of our college information, these matrices, our college visits, if you want to sign up for a college visit, information on the Common App, the SAR, everything I'm going to go over can be found on the Park Vista website under the school counseling page, under the college information tab. You can also get to it pretty easily. If you just Google Park Vista college information, it will be the first link on Google. When you'll get there, you'll see the whole menu. So for the public universities, all 12 of the public universities, with the exception of one, Florida International University, all utilize something called the Common App. And the Common App is an application used by about 1,000 colleges in the United States. So we would strongly recommend, if you're applying to some of the public universities or even out-of-state or private colleges, if they use the Common App for that college, it's going to make your life a lot easier to use that because it eliminates you having to fill out a separate application in full for each college, okay? Also, if you complete your Common App and you invite your school counselor as your counselor on the Common App, it allows us to support you in the application process by doing school reports, letters of recommendation if they require it. For some schools that are private or out of state, we can upload your transcript for you, things like that. So I encourage you to do that. FIU doesn't use the Common App, so they have their own institutional application. On the back of your page, you're going to see there's a cheat sheet for the SUS, and you can find it on our website. You'll see all the links there, and they're up to date. It'll give you information on the Common App, but also how you self-report the scores to those colleges. It kind of tells you step by step what each college requires. The hyperlinks on our website are live, so it's a lot more useful to do it on the website. On the Park Vista website, you just click the link, it will take you right to the page. Okay? We're going to try the video again and see if the internet's working. This is a video on the Common App.
Submitting your college application is an exciting accomplishment. With Common App, it's a simple 3-step process. To submit an application to a college, you must complete all sections of the Common App tab, the college's specific questions, and invite your recommenders. Go to the Review and Submit screen of that college, and then select the Review and Submit button. If the personal essay isn't required by the college, you can choose whether to include it with your application. First, you'll review and make sure you're satisfied with your application. If necessary, you can exit the submission process to make changes and return later. Next, you'll move to the payment process. If you indicated that you qualify for a fee waiver, you'll skip this step. If the college has an application fee, you'll be taken to the payment and processing screens. Paying the application fee does not submit your application. You'll still need to return to the Common App to submit your application. In the final step, you'll review some affirmations and sign and date your application. Then select the Submit button to finish. You will see a confirmation screen and confetti to congratulate you on this accomplishment. Common App is here to support you along the way. You can find help at any time by visiting commonapp.org/help.
Again, we have a link for the Common App on our website under that college information. So when you do apply to the state universities, the public universities, most of them use a self-reported academic record rather than sending a transcript. It's called the SAR, it stands for Student Self-Reported Academic Record. We have links on there on how to do it for each college and also in general. You'll see the schools that utilize the SAR, okay? So you'll submit the SAR and you're going to use your SIS academic history to do that. So you just look at your SIS, that help screen we looked at before for your academic history. You're going to do your SAR once and then you'll link it to each college you're applying to, and those links again are on that cheat sheet on our website. So there's a couple schools that don't use the SAR. One is UCF. So if you're applying to UCF, they do use a self-reported record, but it's their own in-house record. It's called the Spark. There's a link there for how to fill out the Spark and submit it to UCF. Florida Gulf Coast University and FIU require official transcripts. So you'll have to send those transcripts through Parchment, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then New College and Florida Polytechnic Institute in Lakeland, they both use the SAR, but they also will accept a transcript. New College will accept the transcript through the Common App, and Florida Poly will accept it through the Common App, or you can just actually email it to them or take a picture and text it to them, believe it or not. So the official transcript, to do that, you have to go through parchment.com. There's a sheet in your packet that tells you step-by-step how to do that. When you submit the transcript to Parchment, you might have to do that. You're going to have to do it for schools like Florida Gulf Coast and FIU, but you might have to do it for some private colleges. Unless that private college is on the Common App, then they'll usually accept it as long as you invite your counselor. We will download a transcript for you on your Common App if you invite us, so that's important to know. Let's talk about applying to the public universities and the deadlines. As a general rule, if you're applying to a four-year college or university, we recommend that you have your applications done no later than the end of October, so by October 31st. There are a few exceptions to that. If you're applying to a school that offers early decision, they may have an earlier deadline. A lot of the early decision deadlines might be November 1st, but some are as early as October 1st or October 15th. Same thing with early action. Early decision is a binding contract, so if you do that, you're only applying to that one school. Early decision, and if they admit you're kind of committed to go there. Early action is non-binding, it just means you get an earlier agreement. There are some of the state universities, you'll see where it says earlier priority deadlines, decisions, and then deadline. The regular deadlines are listed there. Some schools have a hard deadline, like University of Florida has a November 1st deadline for their application. Okay, and then they'll have a December 1st for like test scores and the STAR. Other schools will have a regular decision, but then they might have a priority decision. A good example is Florida State. So if you look at Florida State, you can apply for FSU by December 1st, but if you meet their October 15th deadline, you're gonna find out a lot sooner, your decision, you'll be in that early category. They admit a lot of their students in that early category, so sometimes the later category can be more competitive. The other thing with the priority deadlines, generally if you meet those, you'll meet all the deadlines for in-house scholarship consideration or merit scholarships. For colleges, there's a lot of colleges that when you apply, they automatically consider you for scholarships, but to do that, you have to meet those early priority deadlines. So for most of them, it's gonna be by November 1st. There are a few you'll see there like UNF, you'll see Florida State, and you'll see FAMU have an earlier deadline, October 1st or October 15th. So pay attention to those deadlines. The other thing, I'm going to talk about rolling admission. You'll see some of the schools that says rolling there. UCF is a good example. So UCF, their ultimate deadline is May 1st. But if you wait that long to apply to UCF, there's not going to be any spots left. UCF is accepting applications right now, and they do rolling admission, meaning as soon as you submit your application, they're going to look at it as soon as it's complete. And they have all the pieces, the test scores, the academic record, the SPARK, the application, your application fee or fee waiver. And then they're going to look at it and they're going to give you a decision with a short turnaround time. As they admit more and more students throughout the semester, their spots fill up. As their spots fill up, it gets harder and harder to be admitted. So if you see a school that's rolling admission, our advice would be to apply to them as early as possible, but definitely, again, by that October 31st deadline, okay? Some of the colleges, not a lot of the state universities, there's only a few like Florida A&M, sometimes UCF that will require a letter of recommendation, but a lot of private schools like University of Miami, for example, will require letters of recommendation from teachers and often a counselor. If you need a letter of recommendation, on our website, if you go to the Park Vista website, School Counseling, Class of 2023, you're going to see this presentation. Right under there, you're going to see a link for letters of recommendation. It has the instructions. There's also a form there that you can fill out. It's a PDF form that's going to ask you questions about yourself. And you can submit that to your counselor either in person or through email when you request a letter of recommendation. Keep in mind, we do not write letters of recommendation the day you ask. We need some time to develop a good letter for you so we can support you, put some thought and time and effort into it. So please give us like at least 2 weeks to write a letter. If you do have, we're going to talk a minute about a resume. So one way to give us information is through that form. We're going to ask things like, what are you involved in inside or outside of school, like clubs, sports, activities, work experience, volunteer service. That tells us a little bit about you. We also might ask for things that you want us to highlight in the letter. Are there special circumstances? Are there recognitions or achievements that you have that you want us to highlight? That allows us to write a meaningful letter to the college. It's just not a generic letter, but something personalized about you. So another instrument you can use is a resume. A resume is useful in the college application process because there are some colleges that will allow you to upload your resume. Other colleges, when you complete the application, there's going to be a holistic part that's going to ask you to list your achievements, your involvement, your experience in volunteer or work experience, things like that, and you can refer to your resume as you fill that out. The other thing is, like with the recommendation, instead of filling out that form, if you have a resume, you can just submit that to your teacher or counselor, and that will have information that we can utilize to write that letter again for you. The resume should highlight your achievements, things that you've been involved in inside or outside of school, extracurricular activities, work, volunteer service, things like that. Any recognition or awards or leadership that you've done, those types of things. And I think Ms. Robinson's gonna move on with some of the other pathways like community college and the military and so forth.
Good morning. We are in partnership with Palm Beach State College. You will see representatives here throughout the school year to share information about their programs. If you are planning to go on the career or vocational program pathway, they have lots of opportunities. Some students have interest in possibly being a firefighter. They do have that program there. Or if you're interested in earning an associate's degree, they have programs such as business, where you can obtain an associate's degree, as well as they do have bachelor degree programs, one including a nursing program. So if you are interested in Palm Beach State College, you may visit their website or attend sessions when they are on campus, or visit them if they do any lunch visits this school year. There are also career colleges and vocational schools that are targeted to specific areas of interest. And we have that included in your packet. If you're interested in automotive repair, culinary arts, or even early childhood education. We have a listing of those schools available for you, so please reference them in your packet. Military. Some students express interest in joining one of the armed forces. We encourage you to speak with a military recruiter, and the contact information is located in your packet. We do have military visits on Wednesdays during lunch, so that is a great opportunity for you to speak with them as well. On November 2nd, please keep that date in mind. We have 2 events going on that day. The first event will be the ASVAB assessment. This is a test that measures your abilities and it helps predict career success. It doesn't necessarily have to apply to the military. You could just use it for your own information, but if you are guided to the military pathway, you can take that as well. But also, later on in the day, we will have our Military Appreciation Day, where we will recognize the different armed forces, and they will have activities in the courtyard. So please keep that date in mind, November 2nd. Now, some students know what path they plan to take after graduation. Some are still undecided. Well, we do have some career counseling resources available for you, where it can help you determine possible jobs that might fit for you. So for example, the 4th item on that sheet, it says mymajors.com. If you were to go to that website, you can take a quiz, and you will get some feedback in regards to the path you could possibly consider. Also, you will find some scholarship information on that website as well. Dual enrollment. Dual enrollment. A lot of students take dual enrollment classes at Palm Beach State College. We will host our spring 2023 orientation on September 20th at 8 a.m. Now you might ask, why are we doing that so early? Well, we want to make sure that you have your test scores, which are required for dual enrollment, and that you meet the GPA criteria for dual enrollment as well. The minimum GPA required for dual enrollment is a 3.0 unweighted grade point average. Please watch our weekly updates for sign-up information. I will let you know that sign-up will begin in early September. Also, Palm Beach State has an opportunity for seniors only for the spring 2023 semester. Students can enroll in the Introduction to the College Experience course or any course with an SLS prefix if they meet the following eligibility requirements. If you have a minimum unweighted grade point average of 2.75, and you have the college-ready reading placement score. This is the difference between this opportunity and dual enrollment overall. Overall, for dual enrollment, you must meet the 3 test score requirements. If you are interested in taking this course or another course with the SLS prefix, you may have the unweighted GPA of 2.75 and only the college-ready reading placement score. If you would like more information about this opportunity and dual enrollment, please sign up for the dual enrollment presentation on September 20th. At this time, we'll have Ms. Turner.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Okay, so at this point of the presentation, you may be thinking, okay, we have different options after high school, have college, vocational school, possibly military. If you're thinking of college, vocational school, you may be thinking, how am I going to pay for this? Well, there are resources, and I'm going to be going over these resources right now. The first one I want to bring to your attention is the Bright Future Scholarship Program. If you're planning on staying in the state of Florida to go to school, to a public institution, even private, the Bright Future Scholarship Program you may be eligible for. There are 2 main scholarships that I want to kind of go over, and you have a flyer. Many of you are looking at it right now. It gives you a big reminder that the earliest you can apply for Bright Future is this year, your senior year, October 1st. And I highly, highly recommend that if you feel like you have the requirements or you're close to getting the requirements, apply. Even if you're not quite there yet, because you have till June of this school year to qualify for Bright Future. So if your GPA is not as high, but you think you can get it up to that 3.0 or 3.5, you have till June. If you don't have the test scores yet, you have till June. Community service, again, you have till June. So the requirements for Bright Futures, I'm going to go over the first one, and that's the Florida Academic. That's the top scholarship under Bright Futures. That scholarship pays 100% of tuition. It doesn't pay for room and board and other educational fees, but it will pay for tuition. You can always stack other scholarships and forms of financial aid with Bright Futures. You can use other stuff with it. So for the Bright Futures, the Florida Academic, to earn that scholarship, you have to have a 3.5 recalculated weighted GPA in your academic courses. That's your 4 English, your math, your 4 years of math, Algebra 1 and above, your social studies, science, your 2 years of a foreign language, and then they'll look at other additional academic credits, and they'll weight it. Similarly to what Mr. Trevini was going over when he went over universities and colleges and how they weight their GPA, they do the same thing. So it's a 3.5 weighted. So it's not necessarily going to be, if you're right now at a 3.5 weighted here at Park Vista, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have with Bright Futures, because remember, Park Vista is everything, okay, all your courses, while Bright Futures is only those select courses, so keep that in mind. You also have to have either a 1330 on the SAT or a 29 on the ACT. And remember, they super score. Super score, again, is when they take your highest subtest from each test. So let's say you did the SAT 3 times,
They'll take your highest reading of those 3 or 4 times you've taken it and your highest math and combine them. They'll do the same with ACT. And then you also have to have 100 hours of community service. Now, some of you may be an ACE diploma recipient, whether you earned it at the end of last year or coming up this year, you may have that diploma. The nice thing or the benefit of the ACE diploma is that if you earn that diploma, you will automatically earn the Florida Academic as long as you apply for it and you have 100 hours of community service. They will not hold you to the GPA or test score requirements, so keep that in mind. If you do not have the ACE diploma, again, you would try to qualify the traditional way, which I went over. The other scholarship under Bright Futures is the Florida Merit Scholarship, and that scholarship is a little bit lower. It's 75% of tuition, and the requirements for that scholarship is a 3.0 GPA, 1210 on the SAT, or 25 on the ACT, and you have to have 75 hours of community service. And again, they'll super score as well. And the GPA is also the 3.0 recalculated based on those academic courses. So again, it's a great value to stay in Florida. The other thing you have to consider, some of you may be thinking, well, I'm going out of state. I'm going to North Carolina, Iowa, New York for college, so I don't need to apply for Bright Futures. But you may still qualify. But let's say you go away to school out of state and then you decide after a year, I want to come back and I had that Bright Futures. Not if you didn't apply. So you need to apply, regardless of what your plans are, make sure you apply because you have up to a couple of years to use the Bright Futures if you don't use it initially, but you can't if you didn't apply for the scholarship. And remember, October 1st is the deadline. Or not the deadline, the beginning of when you can start applying, October 1st. You have, I would say, probably till the end of the school year. Okay, so try to get that, again, the earlier the better, just get the application in, but I would not wait past early June, okay, to apply for it. That's my recommendation. Okay, so another way to earn money, remember there's 2 forms of aid. There's merit-based, like Bright Futures and other scholarships. There's also financial aid based on need. And the way you would apply for that is through the free application of free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA, better known as the FAFSA. The earliest you can apply for FAFSA is in October, again, October 1st. The earlier, the better, because aid is not infinite here in our country. It is federal aid. If you wait until very late, you may not be able to qualify for any type of aid if you wait late. Not to mention that many colleges and universities have FAFSA deadlines. So if you're applying to a university or college, you want to check when their FAFSA deadline is. So if you qualify for FAFSA, what does that mean? Well, it's based on need. It's based on many factors, okay? Your family income, how many people in the family, but there's many factors as they look at for FAFSA. If you qualify, you may qualify in the form of a grant where they give you the money and you don't have to pay it back, or in the form of a work-study program. Again, you do not have to pay that back. You're working on campus though, and that money that you're earning is going towards your tuition and other educational expenses. Or it can be in form of a loan, okay, where yes, you do have to pay that back ultimately, but usually it's at a very low interest. So those are the 3 forms of qualifying for FAFSA. And it has nothing to do with your grades. It doesn't have to do with grades, community service, it's based on need. I'm going to show a brief video about FAFSA.
So you want to go to college or career school. Maybe you started saving early. Maybe you'll discover some buried treasure, but more likely you'll need another plan. So if paying for college is going to fall on your shoulders, the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Federal Student Aid is the best place to turn for assistance. I bet you didn't know that we're the largest provider of grants, loans, and work-study funds, all of which are easy to apply for. And when it is time to apply for aid, head to your favorite spot to complete the free application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA. Each October, a new FAFSA is available for the next school year, and completing it is free when you go to the official website, fafsa.gov. Your selected colleges will use the information on your FAFSA to figure out how much aid you'll get, so make sure your info is accurate. But if you need to, you can go back and make some changes. If you get a grant or work-study job, congrats, you won't have to pay the money back. However, a federal loan is borrowed money, and you'll need to promise to repay it. Remember to borrow only what you need, because a federal student loan is a real loan. Just like with a car or home loan, it's important that you understand what you're agreeing to. Although college, financial aid, and the prospect of an instant noodle diet can be a little overwhelming, you'll be putting yourself on the path to success when you take the time to plan out your options and let the Office of Federal Student Aid help you along the way. If you have questions or need more information, please visit studentaid.gov.
All right, so we're going to have a presentation here for parents and of senior parents and students, seniors, on September 19th, right here in the auditorium at 6 p.m. We'll have an organization here, TRIO. They're going to be here to give an overview about FAFSA and other scholarship programs. And then we'll be back on October 17th as a special workshop in our computer lab in the Media Center at 6 o'clock for families that need help with FAFSA. This is a great opportunity because the form itself probably takes about 20 to 30 minutes to fill out, and your families may not have any issues with it, but they may have some questions. And sometimes they're inclined to call us as the school counselors, can you help me fill out the FAFSA? But we can't. We're unable to do that because we're not certified financial aid advisors or certified to do that. So the people that are coming that evening on October 17th are, so they can take advantage of coming over, but they have to make sure two things, that you and your parents have created a FAFSA ID, an FSA ID. That is very important that you have that. That usually takes a day to process. And there's a flyer right after the Bright Futures that talks about this and tells you what documents you need to bring for the workshop on October 17th. So take advantage of this. If you need help. This is free help, October 17th. And also TRIO, they're also an organization that they actually help with a lot of things with FAFSA, college applications, but they're also a free service that you do not have to pay for. Okay, there's other scholarships out there besides Bright Futures. There's thousands and thousands of them, and we put out every 2 weeks a scholarship bulletin. Some of you may have seen it already. If not, you're going to see it soon. It's a green packet. We always have it available in our school counseling office. We just actually distributed our first one of the year. It is updated every 2 weeks. So any scholarship information that we receive, we post on the bulletin. Of course, that's not going to be every scholarship known to man. If you want to know about every scholarship known to man, you can go on our scholarship websites. We have this on our school website, under school counseling, under scholarship financial aid. Also, the bulletin is there as well. So every 2 weeks it's posted. I would highly recommend that you take a look at that. You don't want to be that person at the last minute when you see the bill, which usually comes after you're accepted and it's all roses and excitement and celebration, but then you see the bill and how much it's going to cost for only 1 year. For 1 year, just to give you an idea, 1 year at a public university in the state of Florida is about $20,000, maybe a little bit more, and that's including room and board, okay, and tuition and all your other expenses. So it pays to apply for financial aid, scholarships, even like with FAFSA. Even if you're thinking, well, I may not qualify, still apply. Many scholarships will require you to fill out a FAFSA form, to fill out a FAFSA report, and you have to do it anyway for the scholarship. So take advantage of the websites that we have here. Also, another thing to take advantage is Scholarship Thursday. We had our first one yesterday in our school counseling office in the computer lab. We had over 50 students that came. And during Scholarship Thursday, any flyers or applications that we receive to post, we put out there during Scholarship Thursday. The bulletin's always available. Again, the bulletin's always going to be available and updated every 2 weeks, and you can always check out our school website and also the school counseling office, again, in the spinning carousel under students. It's in green. But this is a great opportunity to find out what is the most current and up-to-date resources we have here for scholarships. If we have any scholarship organizations that come over to do presentations, we have sign-ups usually during that time. But take advantage. Don't be the person coming in April. I do have a Scholarship Thursday in April, and usually it's sad when it's that person who's never shown up to all the ones we've had throughout the year and looking for money for school. And by April, they're slim pickings, okay? So again, the scholarship and financial aid application process needs to go hand in hand with the college application process. You should start early. And speaking of the college application, one aspect I want to go over with you quickly is the essay portion of your application. You have a flyer that gives you tips on how to create that successful essay for college admissions. When you see that essay, it's not a completion grade. It's not something, oh, I just have to fill this out. They want it. They're not going to really look at it. No, they're going to look at it. There is a committee in every university that reviews essays. All the admission counselors take a look at it, and they want to see what makes you stand out against other applicants that are applying. They could be looking at 2 applicants that have the same GPA, same test scores, same rigor schedule, everything, and they can have to make a decision between the 2, and that almighty essay can make that difference. I also want to explain, though, the essay is very important, but so is everything else in your college application. So I don't want to mislead you and think, oh, I've had this great essay, even though my GPA is really low, I have that great essay, I'll get in. No, they're still looking at everything holistically. But the essay can make a difference if you're close. And they want to see if you're a good applicant for their college. They want to hear your voice. What makes you unique? What can you contribute to that school? So there's a lot of tips there that we encourage you to follow. Make sure you take your time to write that essay, that you're writing the essay. Because again, they can tell if it's somebody else, that it's not a student, or if it's not you, so to speak, because these are people that are experts in reviewing essays. They're trained to do this. So make sure it's your voice, make it anecdotal, make it personal. This is your time to shine and to show that college why you are a deserving candidate for their school. And now to review AP and ACE equivalency, Mrs. Sanchez.
Thank you, Mrs. Turner. Now if everyone could turn to this page, this is our AP courses, equivalency courses matrix. This is a little cheat sheet for you guys to have handy. You've been, in your high school career, you've been taking AP classes and taking those AP exams at the end of the year. So some of you may be wondering, for the Florida State universities, what is the equivalent course that I'm going to get credit for at that university? So we've given you this little cheat sheet. You can look across the top, and those are state universities. So let's say you're interested in going to FIU. And you've taken AP English Lit and passed that exam at the end of the year. So you can go ahead and do the cross-reference, and let's say you got a 3 on your AP exam, you can see the ENC 1101, that's going to be the course that you're going to be getting credit for. Right beneath that in FIU, you see that there's also a 4/5. That's if you got a 4 or 5 on that exam, the course credit you're going to be getting, the course you're going to be getting credit for. On the reverse of that sheet is the same idea, but it's only with ACE classes, okay? But let's say you're thinking of applying out of state or to a private university. You also want to know, if you pass those AP exams or those ACE exams, what classes you're going to be getting credit for. My suggestion there is every university, you can go ahead and do a Google search or go on the university's webpage, and on their little search tool, do credit by exam, okay? And that'll bring you to a page where you'll see specifically for that university what you will be getting credit for if you passed an AP exam or the ACE exam. Okay? And now for Mrs. Carlson.
Morning, seniors. I'm Ms. Carlson. Some of you may have come to my junior college planning workshops, and there will be some overlap in the information in the senior college admission workshops, but it's going to be much more relevant to you now because you're actually going to be in this process. So the senior college planning workshops are held virtually. They're at 3:30 p.m. on Tuesdays. You can see there's a link there to join the Google Classroom where all the materials are located, and also a link to join the meets at 3:30 on Tuesdays. The first one is going to be next Tuesday, the 30th. We're going to go over the Common App live. So this is an opportunity for you to see the different sections of your application and get some advice on what to do in those sections, and also to ask any questions you may have. So if you haven't started your Common App yet, this is really helpful. If you have already started your Common App, it's still really helpful because you may have questions. You probably will have questions. So I hope you can make it to that one. The next one we're going to do on September 6th, we're going to talk about the essay and resume. You may already have a draft essay and resume done. I hope you do. But if whether you have already started it or have not started it, this will be really useful. You may want to do some final touches on it before you submit, or you may not know where to start. So this is something that could be really helpful for you. The 13th, we're going to talk about the college search. This is for students who may not yet know where they want to apply, or maybe you have a list of schools, but you really want to narrow it down because it's way too many. So we'll talk about how to narrow that list down or how to create your college list and look for things that are important to you in each school. September 20th, we'll talk about what happens after you submit. Who's looking at your application? What are they looking for? And what happens when you get those acceptance letters and you start to make your choice about where you're going to go. And then last but certainly not least, the 27th, we're going to talk about financing your education. So we're going to talk about Bright Futures, FAFSA, different scholarships, and really go into detail about that. And that'll be another opportunity for you to ask questions live, okay? These sessions are open to seniors and parents, but I really hope I'm going to see you at these sessions because this is your college process. Your parents should not be doing your college applications for you. Colleges can definitely see when your mom is writing your essay and doing your applications for you, and it doesn't look good for you because they want to hear from you. They want to hear your voice. So I hope that you are taking ownership of this process. The more ownership you take of the college process, the better your outcomes tend to be. So please try to make it to these. This one is senior visits. You are all going to be coming down to the guidance office through your US Gov and Econ classes. This is the schedule here. You don't need to memorize this. Your teachers are going to bring you down to us and you're going to meet with your counselor one-on-one to go over your graduation requirements, to answer any questions that you may have from everything, all this lot of information that you have heard here today. If you don't have an Econ or a Gov class on campus, you are going to meet with your counselor after September 9th. You've heard the website mentioned a whole lot throughout this whole presentation, and I just want to emphasize that almost all of the questions we received from you guys can be answered on the website. So instead of waiting for us to answer your email and give you a link to the website, look at the website. Cut out the middleman and get your information. It's really important that you learn how to start doing this now, because once you leave this building, it's going to be your responsibility to find the information you need for the rest of your life. So start practicing that now. We have everything categorized for you really easy so you can find all the information you need. And then if you still have questions, of course, email us or come see us. But start getting used to visiting the website. While you're still in this building, we are providing you with a whole lot of information, and all you have to do is read it. So it's really important senior year that you're checking your email and you're reading the things that come from the various offices. We send you a weekly update every Friday. This has information about scholarships, college opportunities, graduation, all kinds of information that's right there at your fingertips. You just have to read it. You're going to miss out on a lot, and you're going to miss a lot of deadlines if you're not paying attention to your emails and what we're sending to you. So please pay attention to that. District College and Career Fair is going to be Wednesday, September 28th. It's back live in person, which is so great. These college and career fairs are basically like speed dating for college. You get to go around to each table and meet the representative from that school. Most likely the representatives from the colleges at this fair are the same people who are actually going to be reading your applications. So you can meet that person, you can collect some information about the school, let them know who you are so they can put a face to the application when they receive it. There will also be career and technical skills, military branches will be there, and there will be FAFSA sessions to help with that very important financial aid application. So I hope you can make that. It's really useful. Wednesday, September 28th, 6 to 8, South Florida Fairgrounds. And of course, you all have a school counselor. The alphas might have changed a little bit this year because we do have a wonderful new addition to our counseling team. So please do see your counselor with any questions or concerns that you have. I know you probably think that we are counselors for the fame and fortune, but it's really just because we are here to help you, okay? So please come see us, and that's it for me.
Good morning, everyone. I I just want to talk to you briefly about graduation. I get it's August, but graduation's going to be here before you know it, and you need to get your cap and gowns. So I was told by Herb Jones, if we don't order our cap and gowns, have the order in and paid by the beginning of December, cap and gowns will not get here on time. You cannot get it on Amazon. It has to be through Herb Jones. The next time they're going to be here is September 7th in the gym lobby. Go in, give them your first name, last name, get your cap size, height, weight. It's $56. So make sure you make plans for September 7th. There's a little card coming around. All you have to do is put your first name, last name, height, and weight. Please, please make sure that you give this to your teacher when you return to class. Your teacher is aware. They will put the cards in my mailbox. If I don't have your card, you don't have a cap and gown. It's that simple, okay? So again, can't get it through Amazon. If you're planning on walking, you do need to get this done. You'll also get a flyer when you guys leave. If you have a substitute in your class, just simply bring your card by student activities, give it to me, or student services to Dr. Pierre, okay? So that's cap and gown. The next thing, there's 3 important dates that most of you care about, and that's besides graduation, and that's homecoming, prom, and grad bash. Prom, just like last year, it will be senior exclusive first. Once you guys get your tickets and your guests, then we'll open it up to juniors. But to get any of these tickets, 3 things you need: 20 community service hours, no financial obligation, and your online class done, okay? So just want to give you that 411 now. Last thing, football game tonight. We play Wellington. Can I get my man Aiden to stand up, please? Okay, Aiden was selected from Palm Beach and Martin County. ESPN selects top 63 players. Aiden, my man, represents Park Vista as top 63, so we can give him a round of applause. All right, tonight, come out, support your football team as we take on Wellington. Student government's going to be tailgating, playing music, face painting, getting it done. See you guys tonight.
Let's give Ms. Romero a round of applause and congratulations to Aiden. There we go, thank you. Good morning, seniors. So let's try this again. I know it's been a long day for you all, but let's say this. Good morning, seniors. Good morning. Thank you so much. So before I continue, I want to just